Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. So I wanted to do a quick video talking about a cool thing that happened to me at the flea market yesterday. So I have some things going on at home and repairs we have to do, and my mind was very preoccupied. So I wasn't as into it as I normally am in terms of like looking through things and stuff like that. But I had a pretty good time and I did look at everything I wanted to look at. I ended up not buying anything, which is usually the case. And as I'm leaving, I see this box, cardboard box near the exit that says free. And if you know me, free is my language. So this is the second really cool story to come out of the flea market. The other one was from last year. So I go through the box and it's two VHS tapes that look like historical VHS tapes, something with like Egypt, something sort of with an old mountain range or something like that. And I was like, all right, I don't have a VCR. These aren't the kind of VHS tapes that the VHS groups I'm in on Facebook, anyone would really be interested in. It's not like horror or anything weird. So it's probably not really worth taking them. But then I see a CD in a little thin case. And I keep cases because I tend to reuse them for things. If I give maybe a movie or a soundtrack or a CD or something to a friend, I'll make a copy of it for them and I'll put it on the disc and I'll give them the case. So I take the case and bring it home, and there's a cover on it. And I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to give away who this person is, but there's a cover on it for a museum that's in Manhattan. And it says that it's from 2002 to 2004, and it's pictures from these class trips. And when you flip it over, it has three names of the people who had taken the photos. So I'm like, huh, this is interesting. So I throw it in my computer at home, which the CD drive is kind of broken, so it's making this loud sound. And I proceed to pull all the pictures off of the disk. It's about 200 megs worth of student photos, people laughing and joking around and going into this museum and seeing different attractions and things there, and they're all labeled and in folders. So I go on the back of the disk again and I go on Facebook and start looking for each of these people that took the photos. One of them, I'm not really sure if it's them. The other one's a very common name. And the final one comes up with someone who works at the museum. And I'm like, this has to be her. So I just thought this was a cool little story. It's not very important. Excuse me. So I type in her name, I message her. She gets back to me last night and she says, "How did you find me?" And I said, "Oh, well, on the back of the disc is, a little piece of paper with the names. And when I looked you up, you work at the museum, so I figured it was you." So she goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe you found that. I haven't seen these kids' faces in obviously it's 18 or 16 years, depending on the group of children that had come through here for this program at the museum, where I think it was like an astronomy type program." So I proceed to upload all the photos to my Google Drive. I send her the link, and she was so happy that she was able to see these kids again and that she found these photos. She asked me if I knew the person that was giving away the disc. I said, I think he was an Asian guy because I know what booth it is, but I don't know what his name is. I don't really interact with him. He's not one of my vendors that I talk to. He normally has sort of like historical paraphernalia and books, sometimes old VHS tapes. So he's not really a vendor that I know and talk to. So she's like, "Oh, it might have been Mr. Whatever." Um, a lot of the kids from the trip, from the program in Manhattan, did come out of Long Island. So she was very happy. I felt good kind of sort of closing the loop for this person. And they probably forgot about this. And I brought it back to them and I thought it was just really cool. I ended up throwing out the disc and the cover and just keeping the case, which was my initial intention. But I got the data to this woman who can now back it up and store it or whatnot. And I'm sure she told her husband, "Oh my God, I found all these pictures." So it was just a cool little story. And anytime I come across something at the flea market with a story, I try to contact the person who's involved and kind of close that gap for them that they may not even know is there. So it was just cool and interesting. I know I'm rambling now. There is one more story from last year that is just as cool, maybe cooler, regarding a painting I found. And I found the artist of the painting, contacted them, and did a whole video on it, and they gave me background on their painting. However, they were not very fond of this painting. They've grown as an artist, and they didn't really want me to put the video out. They were like, ah, it's okay, you don't have to. They didn't seem very hot to try. Since then, they haven't really answered me, and they've taken some of their videos down. So I don't know if maybe I'll eventually just release it, but I don't really want to do something to upset this person either. But we'll see. Maybe eventually I will release that video. So that was it. That was my little story about finding all these school student pictures about the museum in Manhattan and getting them back to one of the people who took them. Thought it was just pretty cool thing to find so many years later, and that this woman still works at the museum, you know, 18 or 16, whatever years later. So that was it. Thanks, guys, for watching. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Be good.